Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. Today I want to talk to you about how narcissists will describe themselves when they are hunting for a new supply. This is really important to take note of, especially if you have a history of attracting narcissists or being around narcissists. So this can be not even just in a romantic relationship kind of setting, but if you find yourself always attracted to jobs where you're working for a narcissist, or if you find yourself always attracting friends who are narcissists, you need to really take a look and find out why that is in you, first of all, but also what are people saying to you that is kind of baiting you into being in that position, being in that relationship with them even. So first of all, it's important to note that narcissists are playing a game. So they always have a strategy. They always have an end goal in mind whenever they are trying to find a new supply or picking up a new victim. There's a reason why they're doing it. Sometimes it can just be that they're bored, but most often there's a reason. So they're after something. So really take a look in an inventory in your life about what attracts narcissists to you. This can just be that you're an easy supply, that you don't have boundaries, you don't know how to say no, you whatever. There's character issues there, weaknesses in your character that you need to shore up for sure. But this can also be because you have money, or you have a social status that they desire, or you have connections that they are after, or that there is something about you and about your position in life that they are after. So it's really important, again, that you take note of whatever that is in your life. The reason all of that is important is because the way that the narcissist will describe his or herself to you, especially when you first meet, is going to show you there's red flags within that description that you can be aware of, and so that you can pay more close attention to who they are and if everything that they're doing and saying lines up. You know, the narcissist can very easily charm you with words, but actions are really going to be what tell you what that person is all about. So, for example, the way that the narcissist will often describe themselves is everything that they know you would either want to hear or that would cause you to feel some sort of way, like pity or sympathy or empathy for them in their situation, right? They know that they're going to get an emotional response from you one way or the other. So if they know who you are, if they can have a story that is similar to yours and you can really relate to them, that's going to be what they go after. Pay close attention, especially if this is a potential romantic relationship, because they'll often be describing everything that their ex did. So if they have some crazy story about all of their exes being these wild people, pay attention, because they're probably describing themselves. And it's important for you to line up that story with what you end up experiencing with that person. So if it's like, and by the way, narcissists know that the devil is in the details, right? And so there's going to be a lot of details in these stories that you can actually pick up and line up with what you are experiencing. So for example, if the story goes something like, and I would bring her a latte every morning, check and see, is he bringing you a latte every morning? Because if so, line up those coincidences in his story or her story about their ex and what you're experiencing. Same thing with a potential employer. Ask about the person who filled that position before you, and pay attention to why it didn't work out, and the things that why that person left or whatever, and check and see if those things don't start happening with you. If the reason that the person left was and if this is the boss that is telling you the reasons why, make sure that you're taking note of those reasons, because you're going to start seeing what the person who was hired actually experienced, right? And so Again, the narcissist can't help but tell on them own selves because the devil is in the details. So if you will pay attention to those details, you can really find out what the narcissist is saying, some form of truth. And I talked about in a previous video about how to decode narcissist lies, right? And there's a spectrum, and it's not just if the narcissist says something, then it's the opposite because they're a liar. No, the narcissist knows that the best way to tell a lie is to include truth. And so it's misinformation and disinformation is what the narcissist loves to use and to conceal their cover longer and with more people. So again, paying attention to those things, pay attention to those details because they're actually describing themselves. The narcissist will be describing their own selves in the details, but you have to be paying attention to that. It's part of discernment. It's part of having boundaries. It's part of having and knowing your own self-worth and what you offer to people, what you offer to the world, what you carry. You have to know those things, right? So also pay attention to patterns of behavior. So, for example, if the narcissist will tell you that they never introduce people to their family, right? But then after like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're being introduced to their family. I bet that there's actually been other people introduced to the family, and they will not think anything of it. They don't take into consideration other people's feelings or opinions or any kind of thing. So not those of their family. Even if they have children, they won't think twice about introducing people in and out of their children's lives. So ask details, ask for more information when you're facing these kinds of situations. Is this really the only time that he's ever introduced somebody to his family? Is this really the first time that she has brought somebody around the children? So you can start to pick up on who the narcissist really is by looking at the details, and that's going to be the number one thing. And second of all is recognizing that the narcissist will describe themselves in a way that is making everybody else seem like the bad guy. So they'll actually be describing what they did, but assuming that somebody else did it. So if it's a boss, it's the person who they had hired the last time. The reason that they had to leave was because of them. Or if it's a romantic situation, whatever situation caused the breakup, it was the other person's fault. But in reality, it was the person that you're dating, right? The narcissist is actually the reason and the person who did all of those things. So paying attention to the details, using discernment, growing in discernment, which I talk about a lot on this channel, and also knowing that the lies are not just straight lies. There's always an element of truth to it, and paying attention to those elements of truth, and seeing the way that they will twist things to incorporate truth. They'll have to stretch the lie a long ways and then twist it around just to even include truth. So it's important that you know those things. It's important that you discern those things. And then once you find out that that's happening, ask yourself why it's happening to you. Why are you in that situation? There's a reason why. And if you don't learn the lesson, life is going to present you with another opportunity to learn the lesson later on. I've talked about this before too. There's just too many narcissists in the world to never run into them. Everybody everywhere is going to run into a narcissist at some point in time. But how long they stay in your life, what they get from your life, that's all up to you. That's all up to you. And you get to decide how much time they spend there. How much of you they have access to, how much of you they take away. That's all up to you. You're the gatekeeper of your own life. And so knowing the type of people that you need in this season of life to surround yourself with, the qualifications that people need to have in order to get close to you, and knowing how to implement boundaries appropriately. Boundaries need to come with consequences. Consequences are both good and bad outcomes of a situation, right? It doesn't just mean a negative consequence. This includes good consequences. So if somebody continues to show me that they're trustworthy, they deserve access, more access, right, into my life. They get to move up into a deeper level of friendship. And so that's a consequence. That's an outcome. It's the effect of a cause, right? So you need to have all of that kind of stuff lined up for your own life, for the season of life that you're in, and the ultimate goals that you have in your life. So to do your purpose, you're going to need to connect with certain people, and you need to know how to find those people, how to connect with those people, how to build trust appropriately with people, how to trust your own self. All of that kind of stuff goes into it. So please keep that in mind. And basically, the takeaway from this video is devil's in the details. Pay attention to the details. And number two, the narcissist is going to use an element of truth in describing the situation. So regardless of what it is, pay attention to how the narcissist is describing a situation, and then see how many of those elements line up with what you're experiencing, because the narcissist will tell you very quickly whether or not you're actually whether you're with the narcissist or not. Again, if the boss is telling you that, that person just never was able to make deadlines, but you find yourself making the deadlines, but it's never quite right? Like the project that he wants you to do is never exactly what it has to get changed a whole bunch of times. Or if it's like, the new girlfriend in your life is like, oh, I would bring him a latte every single morning. Find out if she's doing that same thing to you. You can check and see what you're experiencing and line it up with the story that the person is telling you, and that'll give you a good hint as to who actually was the narcissist, or who actually was at fault in the situation prior to you entering it into that person's life. So you guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel below and turn on the little bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video to this channel.